Hello, everybody. This is Debo with Debo's Movie Reviews here, and today I will be reviewing Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby, starring Will Ferrell as Ricky Bobby, John C. Reilly as Kyle Naughton Jr., Gary Cole as Reese Bobby, Jane Lynch as Lucy Bobby, Leslie Bibb as Carly, featuring Greg German as Mr. Dennett, Pat Hingle as Dennett Sr., Sacha Baron Cohen as John Gerard, Amy Adams as Susan, Michael Clark Duncan as Lucius Washington, his crew chief, Ricky's crew chief, with Molly Shannon as Mrs. Dennett. I gotta say, pretty much, Talladega Nights to me is just the stroker ace of the 2000s. Because I'll look at it, oh, Ricky Bobby is more memorable. I'm going to say Strucker Ace was more hands-on with in terms of NASCAR. Though it was although out of most adaptations of NASCAR, I could say this one was about just as hands-on because you had cameos with commentators and drivers, like with Dale Jr. You had Jamie Murray, which seen at Texas where Ricky flips him off and goes, "Yeah, I got it at Target. It was on sale." And then of course you got the commentators, both Fox and at the time NBC, with Darrell Waltrip, Mike Joy, and Larry McReynolds, and then the NBC lineup, which was Wally Dallenbach Jr., Bill Weber, and the late great Benny Parsons. And surprisingly, he did not. I was surprised they did not have him use his infamous phrase "man, oh man" when it came to the likes, or one is not as emphasized. Well, I gotta say, it's kind of the best thing that Sacha Baron Cohen's ever done. Not really big on him, but hey, when it comes to movies about racing, I'll flock to that. Which I can say never enough movies about racing. There's yet and too damn many. Yeah, not enough movies about racing and too damn many about football. And I got to say another excellent thing about Ricky Bobby was the soundtrack with going from beginning with Ricky Bobby, Reese Bobby in 69 or 70, where it was racing a gun in his Chevelle with Lucy in the back seat. And another thing about that Chevelle, what appeared throughout the movie, it was actually another reference to NASCAR lineage, as it was a nod to Smokey Yunick. It was one of the most innovative owners and mechanics in NASCAR. With his signature, and his race cars were always painted black and gold. And Reese Bobby's was a nod to Curtis Turner with the number 13 and paint job, but different generation on Chevelles, because Turner drove. I've only seen like archival footage and photos, of course, but I've only seen that Turner version in a 66 or 67 Chevelle, not 68 or 69. Yeah, there's a lot of confusion when it comes to Chevelles to that era. The whole talk about it scene from the beginning movie, and then that whole scene where Reese convinces Ricky that tricks into thinking that there was a kilo of coke instead of a bag of Lucky Charms. Ever getting chased by the Smokies and all. I mean, talking about some ultimate Dukes of Hazzard style shit right there. Woof. And then another nod, which was like the beginning of like the '90s or something, '96. Ricky at Talladega with a guy who was in. It was like the Joker driver at the beginning, where Ricky and Kyle are in or we're in the pit crew while Ricky takes over the seat, and it goes from a bunch of laps down to third, finishing third, and then of course Ricky kind of goes gets a huge amount of dominance. I mean, talk about talk about talk about the source winner until Kyle Busch came around. And of course with of course being caught with Reese and all, you had Gary Cole. I can say that was like one of the second best thing he's ever done, because I loved him as Lundberg, and this one is a definite polar opposite of that character. And woof, not only did it had excellent racing action, but very much does almost most accurate NASCAR movie till between Days of Thunder and Stroker Ace. And we'll talk about that crash at one after when Ricky's in that Ford in in the, in the smoking unit colors with the just sponsoring himself, trying to get back at John Gerard at Talladega, and then Brian Ray's crash knocks him, who takes over Ricky's ride for Dennett, and the whole and like I mentioned to how narcissistic Ricky was of not letting Cal Naughton ever win one, because he always expect Cal to cover his ass, but never the other way around when need be. Yet they were teammates, and that's kind of almost movie wise made a more intense rivalry, to where, unlike of course with Stroker Ace had with Aubrey James, and then and I think also could say with Days of Thunder, that was with Russ Wheeler, because they were teammates in that scene scenario, and John Gerard and all. I mean, kind of like they made that deal right around the time Juan Pablo Montoya just made his transition from Formula One to NASCAR. Yet John Gerard had more. It's only about more like the fictional version of type of AJ Foyt, but French, given had more equal success, given his equal success in stock cars in open wheel, because not a lot of drivers could try were successful in that transition, whereas in real life, that is. And still continue to be proven yet. Though I say Sam Hornish did have a successful run in what is now the Xfinity Series, but still great acting chemistry when it came to Ricky Bobby. I mean, John C. Reilly in a second movie about NASCAR, which you can almost say in fanfare, had, if Days of Thunder was a comedy, you could almost say that Cal Naughton was on Cole Critical Pit Crew, or so I say Buck Breverton finally got his success of being in his dad's and Cole Trickle's shadow. Whereas Ricky Bobby being a comedy, and like I say, though I say Gary Cole did a good job as Reese Bobby, it was almost a missed opportunity to cast Burt Reynolds and for like a sequel, as make it like an unofficial sequel to Stroker Ace, with after the whole Charlotte incident, after he collides with John Gerard and goes, and then has the whole "Help me, Jesus, help me, Tom Cruise," stripping down to his boxers on the track and all, and I'm just like, and the safety crew is trying to get to him like a greased pig. Woo! And I'd give it an excellent breakout role for Amy Adams, in which one that kind of like right before she got got famous, and then of course you got a lot of great side characters like with David Koechner on his crew chief, and or in the pit crew, kind of fitting because he after just doing that Dukes of Hazzard movie where he played Cooter. And then, of course, with Michael Clark Duncan in one of his most iconic movies. Man, I don't think if him and Tiny Lister were both still alive, they could have did a movie where they were twin brothers. I mean, definite missed opportunity with there. And Greg German and Mr. Dennett definitely took one of the more iconic villains of there, because he got knocked it out of the park with, just being like a jerk villain who was more focused on the money and less about the racing, which in basing as a commitment of violence to where just because he was the son of Dennett. I'm just like, yeah, he did not figure. He's only view racing as marketing. He did no love of the game or the race, and that in this case, and oof, and great backup to Molly Shannon playing Mrs. Dennett, who pretty much drank more than Jim Leahy. I mean, like I say, she was the liquor in that movie. And oof. And we'll talk about that wreck. Big one at the end of the Talladega race, and he goes, after where Carl Nart winds up winning at technicality. I just kind of thought when it came to the other collaborations between Farrell and Riley, some of them should have been like sequels instead of like that whole Holmes and Watson debacle, which of course derailed any other plans for another Ricky Bobby movie, which wouldn't have been like, could have did one where it was like where Cal Naughton got us, or give Cal Naughton Jr. a spin-off movie where he's pretty much gets his high and lows from gaining the hot wife to getting a reality check after losing a ride to Frenchie. But overall, I gotta give at least Ricky Bobby about a 4 out of 5. I'm just saying, I like Stroke Race better when it came to the racing comedy, but Ricky Bobby was a fitting successor. All right, that'll do it for this week or today. I might have plan on doing another review sometime tomorrow or something. Not, or if the schedule clears up, I'm not sure. But overall, hope you liked it, and I'm done.